Okay, let's unpack this. Welcome back to the deep dive. We have been handed quite a stack of comprehensive source material detailing a truly explosive conflict brewing right now in Genoa City.
Hmm.
And this isn't just, a simple business rivalry. What we're seeing is a deeply personal, corporate, and emotional chess match. The stakes are just ridiculously high.
Right.
The main players, you've got the formidable Victor Newman, the, desperate Kane Ashby, and caught right in the middle, a very critical, very reluctant figure, Lily Winters.
And what the sources are really showing us here, it's almost like a masterclass in strategic warfare.
Right.
But not financial. It's psychological warfare.
Exactly.
Victor Newman is gearing up for like a full-scale offensive.
Yeah.
And he seems laser-focused, not on Kane Ashby's, balance sheets or anything like that, but entirely on his emotional vulnerabilities. Victor has apparently identified the single greatest point of weakness.
Absolutely. So
Correct.
our mission today, yours and mine, is to synthesize these multiple reports, articles, notes we've got, really understand the exact nature of Victor's tactical play here.
Okay.
We also need to explore the intense moral and emotional dilemma Lily's navigating right now, and crucially, how her deep-seated anger and really her fresh grief are being seen by Victor as the perfect, maybe unwitting weapon.
We really need to set the scene properly, though. This conflict, it's presented as a high-stakes war where emotional intelligence or maybe the ability to ruthlessly exploit it, that's the only currency that really matters. Lily isn't just, an acquaintance or some business associate in this plan. No, she's absolutely central. Because, as the analysis of Victor's strategy clearly shows, she represents Kane Ashby's undisputed Achilles heel.
That's the term they use.
Yeah. If Victor can manipulate that dynamic, the one between Lily and Kane, well, he basically controls the entire engagement.
And to really grasp why Lily is the perfect target right now, why she's so susceptible to this weaponization, we have to start at ground zero.
Right. The immediate trigger.
Yeah, the immediate and frankly accumulating depth of her emotional pain. Victor seems to be swooping in at the precise moment her guard is completely down and her fury is just maxed out. So let's dive into the battlefield. Why Lily is vulnerable to weaponization. So before Victor can even, try to present his revenge proposal, we have to establish the sheer volume of anger, betrayal, and fresh grief that makes Lily such a susceptible figure right now.
It's a perfect storm, emotionally speaking.
It really is. The sources point to multiple layers of pain, but the most immediate trigger, it's actually the simplest one. Kane's unwelcome, unannounced return to Genoa City.
Yeah, that's the opening shot, isn't it? Kane just arrives back in town, and the reports indicate this is a move Lily had explicitly and very strongly opposed. She did not want him back.
No.
And the timing, it's everything. The notes really emphasize that Victor chose to deliver the news of Kane's presence directly to Lily.
Calculate.
Totally calculated. A move designed to instantly drive her reaction up to an 11, resulting in her being, and this is the quote, absolutely furious.
Wow.
So it's an immediate, easily accessible spike in emotion that Victor knows, or at least believes, he can harness.
But her anger isn't just about his physical presence breaking her boundary, right? It seems much deeper, profoundly rooted in the traumatic and frankly confusing aftermath of the whole Damien Kane situation.
That's right. You'll recall, initially, Lily harbored some intense blame toward Kane for Damien's death. He definitely connected Kane to that tragedy.
I remember that.
But that initial blame, it's been complicated now by the truth surfacing. And this is where the nuance is really essential,
Okay.
The analysis confirms that the real truth eventually came out.
Yeah.
The unhinged killer was actually Carter.
Carter, right.
And he perpetrated the murder specifically to get Damien out of Kane's way. So Carter could then pursue Lily himself.
What a mess.
Yeah. And the sources are pretty clear on the shift in her emotion regarding the murder itself. The moment that truth came out, Lily apparently let that part go.
Okay, so she accepts Kane didn't pull the trigger.
Right. She acknowledged that Kane wasn't the direct murderer, and that specific part of her initial rage, it seems to have subsided. But what replaced it, well, it might be even deeper. A more corrosive anger, almost a moral outrage.
Oh, so it shifted.
Exactly. That realization didn't exactly clear Kane's name of his moral transgressions. If anything, it sort of solidified them as this pattern of character failure in her eyes.
Okay.
Her remaining grievances are huge, seismic even. Lily remains, according to the sources, just appalled by Kane's multi-layered behavior, the sustained combination of lies, manipulations, deception.
And the whole Dumas thing.
And the entire ridiculous, fabricated Dumas persona he created.
Yeah, let's just linger on that Dumas persona for a second, because this wasn't just like a little white lie, was it?
Not at all.
Kane built this elaborate international fiction, a whole character, a backstory. And Lily feels that even if Carter was the one who pulled the trigger, Damien might still be alive today if Kane wasn't, quote, playing those reindeer games.
That's a powerful quote.
It is. She connects Kane's pervasive pattern of deception and, frankly, recklessness directly to the resulting human tragedy. She seems to see him as morally, if not criminally, responsible for setting the whole disaster in motion.
And just when you think her anger couldn't possibly escalate further,
right,
the sources point to what seems like the definitive final straw. The infamous Chateau Lay. The relationship was already shattered, obviously. But this deception, this one truly poisoned the well.
Okay, describe the Chateau Life for us again, because it highlights a whole new level of personal betrayal, doesn't it?
It really does. So when Lily got back to Genoa City, the reports indicate she discovered, apparently through Chelsea Lawson-Niman, that Kane had secretly abandoned the chateau back in France.
Secretly.
Secretly. He had returned to Genoa City, was actively hiding out in the same city as Lily, while simultaneously keeping up this elaborate fiction to everyone else that he and his whole party were still stranded, trapped on the mountain.
Wow. That is profound. Lying to cover a past mistake, okay, that's one thing. But actively lying about your immediate geographical location and your emotional state while you're in the same city as the person you claim to love, that feels like an intense, deliberate betrayal of trust. It suggests ongoing malice, or at the very least, extreme self-interest.
And the sources confirm the revelation made Lily even madder at Kane. It signals that this specific deception, this lie about where he was somehow worse than all the others combined.
Okay, I can see that. And this spirals into another point the sources raise, her deep family concerns and this blame game centered around Kane's father, Colin.
Yes, this adds another layer.
Yeah.
Lily isn't just focused on Kane's actions anymore. She's genuinely worried about his character erosion. The notes suggest she actively fears that Kane's terrible, sustained behavior is a direct result of the, quote, awful influence of his father, Colin Atkinson.
So she sees it as like a contamination. She's afraid Kane is becoming the worst possible version of himself, a direct reflection of his manipulative dad.
Exactly, which means her anger is shifting, right? From specific actions like the lies to this almost existential fear about who Kane fundamentally is now or who he's becoming.
And this goes beyond just her personal feelings. It directly impacts their kids.
The parental worry is huge here. Lily is intensely worried about their children inevitably finding out how bad their dad is now. She's shifting into this protective, defensive mode, really aiming to shield her family from what she perceives as Kane's moral rot.
So if you put it all together, her resulting strategic stance, it seems crystal clear. All Lily wants to do right now is avoid Kane and stay away from him.
Total avoidance.
Total avoidance. She has apparently publicly and privately vowed never to forgive him. So if we distill the emotional equation, Lily's isolated by fresh grief. She's fueled by this escalating anger over the Chateau Lee. She's committed to protecting her family and absolutely devoted to total, permanent avoidance.
And that final point, that commitment to total avoidance, that is the precise tactical vulnerability Victor Newman is about to challenge first. Victor knows that emotion at a distance. Pretty useless strategically. Emotion up close, that's a weapon. What is truly fascinating, I think, about Victor's current approach is its, well, surgical precision and ruthless efficiency.
He doesn't mess around.
No. He doesn't waste time with, peripheral attacks or initial corporate maneuvering. He cuts straight to the emotional core.
Yeah.
Victor is a master strategist, right? He understands that for Kane, his emotional life, his whole quest for reconciliation with Lily, that is the entire battleground.
He goes directly for the Achilles heel, and the sources confirm this isn't just Victor's assessment, it's the widely accepted view among the Genoa City power players.
Everyone sees it.
Everyone sees it. Victor knows that Kane's one big weak spot is Lily. Why? Because, quote, everybody knows how badly Kane wants to be reunited with Lily.
It's common knowledge.
It is. So Victor is taking that deepest, most personal desire, Kane's hope, and the plan is apparently to pervert it, twist it, and use it as a tool of total emotional and maybe corporate destruction.
And the reports highlight this isn't just some accidental skirmish. This war has been formally declared.
Right. Kane tried for peace first.
He did. Before leaving France, Kane actually attempted to broker a truce, made some kind of peace proposal to Victor. But Victor decisively rejected it, declared open, aggressive conflict.
Wow.
The message Victor sent Kane was apparently unequivocal. If you want war, we can do that. And now, Victor's making big moves this week. The target list shows the breadth of his ambition.
Yeah, the sources confirm the plan is pretty expansive. Victor wants Lily to join his revenge plot, not just against Kane.
Yo, it's bigger.
But also against Billy Abbott and, quote, anybody else who's allying with Lily's ex-husband.
So he's drawing battle lines.
Clearly. It shows Victor is playing a much wider, multi-front game here. But our source material places Lily squarely at the center of the Kane conflict. She is the essential component, it seems, for winning that specific battle.
So Victor initiates a direct strategic approach. He moves past any intermediaries. He organizes a meeting, approaches both Lily and her brother, Devin Hamilton, to hear him out, to present his proposal.
Okay.
And his first piece of advice to Lily. It's brilliant, strategically speaking, because it immediately subverts her current survival mechanism, which is total avoidance. Victor tells Lily, you shouldn't avoid him. That's the worst thing.
Wait, why is avoidance the worst thing? Why would Victor push for proximity when Lily's instinct is just run, get distance?
Well, think about it. Avoidance doesn't generate useful, actionable intelligence, right?
It's true.
And it certainly doesn't generate psychological pressure on Kane. If Lily is actively avoiding Kane, she can't observe his movements, his alliances, his vulnerabilities up close. Victor needs her to become a functional, active spy.
Okay, the information angle makes sense.
But proximity is needed for more than just information. It's needed for the crucial element of psychological warfare against Kane. Victor needs Kane to see her, to interact with her, and suffer the pain of her rejection up close, constantly.
Oof. Brutal. This analysis leads us directly then to the potential roles Victor might envision for Lily in this whole conflict. And they seem to range from the purely functional to the deeply compromising.
Yeah, the first, most straightforward role seems to be the spy or the source. Victor wants Lily to use her unique position, ex-wife, mother of his children, to keep a close eye on Kane, monitor his movements, business deals, personal contacts.
Standard espionage.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then feeding that information back directly to Team Newman. Pure, cold information warfare.
Then there's the symbolic dimension, which the sources frame as this really crucial dilemma for Lily herself.
Explain that.
Well, Kane desperately wants her back, right? He's seeking her as his queen by his side, trying to reinstate the family unit. Victor, conversely, wants her strictly as a pawn in his strategy against Kane.
A disposable piece.
Exactly. A disposable piece used solely to inflict damage. So the moral question for Lily becomes, does she accept the role of queen, the role of pawn, or can she somehow refuse to play their games entirely?
And then there is the darkest tactical possibility, the one Victor is kind of known for.
Yeah.
The honey trap.
Ah, yes.
The reports suggest Victor may intend for Lily to be a classic honey trap against Kane. Similar, they note, to how he notoriously used Audra Charles to try to seduce Kyle Abbott.
Right, not for romance.
No, not at all.
Huh.
For, quote, nefarious reasons. Corporate or personal sabotage.
But isn't that advice the don't avoid him advice a bit counterintuitive for the honey trap angle? Given how much Lily clearly hates Kane right now, wouldn't Victor just tell her to spy remotely? Or use her anger from afar?
That's a really crucial analytical distinction the sources seem to make. Victor's strategy, it seems, relies on maximum emotional fallout. The ultimate payoff isn't just information, it's purely psychological.
He knows getting Lily on his side, even just as a source, would be a huge win over Kane. It wouldn't just hurt Kane financially, although maybe that's a bonus. The sources really emphasize it will drive Kane crazy.
Ah, the psychological torture?
That seems to be the primary win condition in this specific maneuver. Victor wants Kane to feel the pain of rejection, not just from Lily directly, but magnified by the knowledge that she is actively assisting his greatest enemy.
So the goal isn't just to defeat Kane in business, it's to demoralize him, maybe destroy him personally, by leveraging his deepest personal desire against him. It's like character assassination via emotional manipulation.
That sums it up pretty well, I think. #1093. Lily's moral and strategic dilemma.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. Because Lily isn't just dealing with the anger that Victor is trying to exploit, right? She's facing this classic enemy of my enemy scenario. But she knows, instinctively it seems, that both sides here are incredibly shady, totally untrustworthy, and deeply compromising. Her internal radar must be just screaming red flags about Victor Newman. Absolutely. And we know Lily isn't going into this blindfolded. The sources revealed she had actually recently been discussing Victor with Chelsea Lawson Newman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the consensus between them was pretty grim. Victor is, quote, shady as heck and totally untrustworthy.
Okay, that's crucial context then.
It really is. Lily harbors absolutely no illusions about Victor's character or his ultimate motives. She knows the game.
Right. So if she were even to entertain Victor's proposal, the sources strongly indicate Lily would approach it with lots of skepticism and eyes wide open.
As she should.
As she should. She knows, probably better than most people, that the price of doing business with the mustache is always, always steep, even if the short-term goal-punishing Kane perfectly aligns with her current emotional state.
And this isn't just some general distrust, is it? Victor has a personal rap sheet with her specifically.
He does.
Yeah, the reports explicitly point out that Victor did Lily dirty with Chancellor in the past.
Ah, the Chancellor history, right.
So that past betrayal provides a solid personal and professional reason why she should probably never, under any circumstances, agree to work with him again. She has lived the consequences of his ruthlessness before.
Okay, so if she doesn't trust him and she's fully aware of the potential cost, what's the core incentive here? Lily is financially stable, right? She doesn't need Victor's money or his corporate power or his influence to secure her own position.
Correct. She's independent in that sense.
So the only possible incentive Victor can offer her that she actually genuinely craves right now, it seems to be pure emotional payback, helping Lily get revenge on Kane.
It's an appetite for justice. Or maybe just retribution.
Right, and Victor's banking on that appetite, overriding her caution.
Which brings us to the crucial question of the personal line she might not cross, particularly regarding those more extreme tactical suggestions, like the honey trap.
Yeah, that feels like a stretch.
If Victor requires Lily to pretend to get close to Kane, you know, the full-blown honey trap scenario, or even just pretending to reconcile solely for the sake of gathering operational intelligence, this might just be a moral bridge too far for her. The sources seem focused on the severe moral cost she would incur by going down that road.
I hear you on the moral cost, but there's an alternative view suggested by the reports too, which is that the tactic probably wouldn't even work.
How so?
Because Lily's emotional state is just too authentic, too volatile right now. She's not some seasoned corporate operative like, say, Audra Charles.
That's a great point. The sources confirm Lily is currently, quote, fuming, and she has vowed never to forgive Kane.
Right. So if she suddenly showed up all smiles and said, oh, it's cool, Kane would be instantly very suspicious.
Yeah, Kane, despite his recent awful behavior, he's not stupid. He knows the depth of her anger. He lived through the reasons for it.
So the sources collectively seem to doubt that this particular tactic would fly, because Lily is genuinely incapable, it seems, of faking that level of reconciliation right now. Her fury is her truth.
And building on that, if she were somehow able to pretend to play nice while feeding information back to Victor, the analysis suggests she would likely start feeling guilty about deceiving Kane.
Ah, so her own conscience would sabotage the mission.
Potentially, yes. It could undermine the strategic efficacy of Victor's whole plan if his agent feels compromised.
This seems to be the core structural difference the sources are highlighting between Lily and someone like Audra. Lily's integrity, however, compromised by her anger right now, it still serves as a kind of natural barrier to Victor's most cynical schemes.
Exactly. The sources explicitly state a fundamental character distinction. Lily is not Audra. Audra is presented as more of a mercenary, right? Driven by opportunism, material gain. Lily, on the other hand, is primarily driven by moral outrage and griefs, even in her anger. She is not expected, the reports say, to jump into seducing anybody to do Victor any favors.
And here's the paradox, maybe. The fact that Lily isn't Audra, the fact that she's driven by a genuine, unfeigned anger and this desire for maybe moral clarity, that's what makes her so valuable to Victor in a different way.
How do you mean?
Well, if she does agree to spy, her deep resentment is authentic. It's real. That genuine cold rejection, even if she's just acting as a source of information, could be far more devastating psychologically to Kane than some manufactured seduction ever would be.
Interesting point. So Victor leverages her moral clarity, or at least her authentic anger, to destroy Kane's personal life instead.
It seems like a possible interpretation of his strategy. Yeah. #, Vivey. Potential consequences and the decision point.
Okay, so if we connect all this back to the bigger picture, we start to see that Lily's decision here, it really transcends just tactical information gathering for Victor. Yeah, this feels bigger. Regardless of the path she chooses, ally, neutral, whatever, this moment seems poised to define the future trajectory of Kane and Lily's entire dynamic. This is a profound crossroads for their relationship, however fractured it is now.
Let's focus first on the potential outcomes of an alliance. Let's assume, hypothetically, Lily goes through with Victor's plan, even in its most minimal form, just feeding info, and Kane eventually finds out she betrayed him.
Okay.
The sources heavily speculate on the psychological ramifications for Kane. The big question is, would he finally give up on his quest to reunite with Lily? Could this be the thing that finally extinguishes his hope entirely?
That's certainly one possibility the reports explore, total surrender on his part. But they offer a deeply compelling and honestly much more twisted counterpoint.
Oh, what's that?
They suggest Kane might actually forgive her.
Forgive her for working with Victor against him, why?
The reasoning is fascinating, because Kane has been so incredibly deceptive himself, recently hiding his Duma, manipulating people, luring them to France under false pretenses. The theory is he might let it slide that Lily was being deceptive as well.
Wow, that would be a really fascinating kind of circular logic, wouldn't it? His own moral decay could lead him to accept hers.
It's like a twisted kind of symmetry, maybe, where they both end up inhabiting this space of moral grayness, which might, ironically, make reconciliation possible again, but only on Kane's compromised terms.
That's dark.
However, the analysis taken as a whole, it generally leans toward a more pessimistic view for Lily's long-term peace of mind.
Okay.
The sources ultimately predict that no matter how satisfying it might feel in the moment to enact revenge on Kane, if she agrees to any deal with Victor, she would ultimately regret agreeing to any deal.
The classic deal with the devil.
Pretty much. Working with Victor has shown time and again to rarely result in a clean victory. There's almost always a heavy personal or moral cost extracted down the line.
Okay, let's turn to the decision timeline itself, because Victor's timing here feels paramount. We keep coming back to this vulnerability factor.
Critical timing.
Lily is currently in a very vulnerable spot, that's the phrase used, because the grief and the shock of Damien's death, coupled with the fresh wound of the Chateau Lee revelation, it's all so fresh. Her emotional shield is just down.
Which makes it exceptionally easy, potentially, for Victor to exploit the situation and weaponize her. He is striking, it appears, at her peak vulnerability.
And the time frame for action is immediate. Right. Victor approached Lily and Devin this week. The notes confirm Lily will be making a concrete decision about the proposal very soon. They've heard the pitch.
Right. Now they're weighing the consequences. And they do have multiple strategic off-ramps they could potentially take here.
The most rational, maybe self-protective possibility seems to be the neutral option.
Staying out of it.
Exactly. The analysis suggests that Lily and Devin might decide that the safest, perhaps most moral path is to simply declare themselves Switzerland. Just choose to remain neutral and not get involved in the escalating conflict between Victor and Kane.
Which, given Victor's past betrayals and the potential damage to their own family's reputation, that seems like a highly rational defensive strategy on paper. But the difficulty with trying to be Switzerland, historically speaking, especially in Genoa City, is that when Victor Newman declares war and decides you are the central battlefield, neutrality is often impossible to maintain. Victor may still find ways to use Lily's position to inflict pain on Kane, whether she formally agrees to a deal or not.
How so?
Well, her mere refusal to reunite with Kane, her continued coldness, even if she does nothing else, that in itself is a weapon in Victor's hands against Kane's psyche.
That's a powerful point. So even if she says no to Victor's deal, he can still use her rejection as a tool. But the reports, they leave us with a significant ambiguity, right? A classic cliffhanger, this unexpected deal.
Yes. Spoilers apparently confirm that by the end of this week, Victor does indeed make a deal with somebody unexpected.
Which throws the analysis wide open.
Completely. It could be Lily signaling her choice for pure revenge over caution. It could potentially be Chelsea, another figure with significant grievances against Kane and maybe his allies.
Or
it could be somebody else entirely. Someone Victor's bringing in as a third party, maybe to manipulate Lily into compliance later, or perhaps to fulfill the role she herself might refuse to play.
Okay, let's just consider the implications if it is Lily who makes this unexpected deal. If she agrees, even just to be a basic source of information, doesn't she essentially validate Victor's cynical worldview?
How do you mean?
That personal grudges, that desire for revenge, always ultimately supersede moral integrity or caution. If she accepts the deal, she has consciously chosen revenge over neutrality, and she's placed herself squarely on the battlefield.
That's a fair assessment. And if she chooses neutrality instead, as you mentioned, she still faces danger. She might avoid immediate moral compromise, but she remains exposed, because Victor will inevitably try to leverage her position anyway.
So her greatest asset in this conflict, her personal history and connection with Cain, becomes her greatest liability, regardless of her intentions. It feels like Victor is guaranteeing that Cain's quest for reconciliation will become an inescapable prison for Lily one way or another.
It certainly looks that way from the analysis.
So what does this all really mean for you, the listener? We've seen Lily facing this, just impossible, multi-layered choice, use her profound anger and very fresh grief against Cain by allying with the demonstrably ruthless Victor Newman. Or try to navigate neutrality while knowing she remains the centerpiece of both men's high-stakes grand strategies. She holds the ultimate power here, not through, corporate acumen or financial leverage, but because she is Cain's emotional, personal, and familial weak spot. This entire situation highlights in really stark detail how personal history, traumatic grief, deep-seated grudges, how they can be leveraged and weaponized as tools in these high-stakes conflicts, forcing the victim to choose between two incredibly dangerous paths.
And that leads us, I think, to a final, powerful, provocative thought for you to consider. Something that builds on this idea of regret and potential moral compromise we've been discussing.
Okay.
We thoroughly analyzed how Victor is attempting to leverage Lily's intense, immediate grief and fury over the trauma surrounding Damien's death. This raises, I think, an important question. When power players like Victor look to weaponize someone's intense emotional state like this, is the eventual goal just simple revenge on the target, in this case, Cain Ashby?
Or is there something more?
Or is it also perhaps the complete moral corrosion of the person doing the spying? By forcing Lily to choose a path of deception and retribution, is Victor maybe attempting to push her past her own moral breaking point, thereby forcing her, maybe unconsciously, into his own cynical, compromised view of the world?
Making her more like him.
Potentially. It's something to mull over as we anxiously await Lily's final and potentially defining decision.